While Attorney General Gentner Drummond is not certain convicted killer Richard Glossip is innocent, he does believe Glossip, who is scheduled to die on May 18th, deserves a new trial. The question is, will Oklahoma's Criminal Court of Appeals agree, and when will they decide? Jason Doyle joins us with more on a decision where time is literally of the essence. Jason.
Rich, Glossip supporters agree. Time is of the essence, so they're hoping a decision will come before Glossip has another final meal.
You can't trust the first two trials that this guy went through.
Representative Kevin McDougal helped get an independent review of the Richard Glossip murder case and supports the death row inmate's attempt to have his case heard a third time.
I was so happy to see that we've got a guy that's hard on crime and yet just in Attorney General Gentner Drummond, because for him to do this after the third Attorney General that I've worked with is just unbelievable.
Glossip was convicted of the 1997 murder of hotel owner Barry Van Treese and sentenced to death. After two independent reviews, the state's top prosecutor felt he had to step in before it was too late. In his filing with the State Court of Criminal Appeals, Attorney General Gentner Drummond said the state has reached the difficult conclusion that justice requires setting aside Glossip's conviction and remanding the case to district court.
I think he saw the same thing in this case that a lot of others didn't see, but things that we saw, just all the mistakes that have been made over the years. And I've kept asking for the state to stand up and take responsibility on that.
The Broken Arrow representative says Drummond was open to listen to those involved with the Glossip case, unlike his two predecessors.
He actually ordered his own independent investigation with Rex Duncan coming in and providing the investigation. And I did meet with Rex, and we offered for him to see the third party, but he didn't really want to do that at first. He wanted to do his own investigation.
Law firm Reed Smith was enlisted by McDougal and other supporters to perform an independent review of the Glossip case. Drummond is taking the action because of what was found in his office's independent review. In a statement after filing to have the conviction vacated and Glossip's case be sent back to district court, the Attorney General said, "This is not to say I believe he is innocent. However, it is critical that Oklahomans have absolute faith that the death penalty is administered fairly and with certainty. Considering everything I know about this case, I do not believe that justice is served by executing a man based on the testimony of a compromised witness."
It's a great development as far as we're concerned. This is something we've been looking for the last 8 years.
Don Knight is Glossip's current attorney.
It is a big deal that we've had two different reviews. The Reed Smith review was a huge review. They spent 3,000 hours reviewing the every bit of the file. And Gentner Drummond, the Attorney General's person, did a great job in reviewing the case in the period of time that he had.
Knight says that both independent investigations turned up missing evidence.
There was a box of very important evidence, including the shower curtain that went up over the window, the duct tape used to tape it up there. Those would have had fingerprints from perhaps another person who was in the room with Justin Sneed. We've always contended, we have witnesses who talked to Sneed who say that he has told them that there was a third person in the room when he killed Barry Van Treese.
Also in that evidence box that was destroyed, financial papers related to the hotel. Those papers would have shown that Glossip wasn't stealing from the owner, Barry Van Treese.
The state had always claimed that Rich was embezzling, and we found experts that say that there was no way he could have done that.
Knight also contends a good lawyer would have used the destruction of evidence between Glossip's two trials to the advantage of their client.
If Rich had had good lawyers in the second trial, they would have filed a motion that could have led to dismissal of the charges before there was even a second trial, if in fact the court found that the box of documents was destroyed purposefully.
Questions have arisen concerning the validity of the testimony of Justin Sneed, who took a deal to avoid the death penalty and claimed Glossip hired him to murder Van Treese.
The guy that did commit the murder is actually serving a life sentence because he testified against Richard Glossip and got a reduced sentence from death row to life without parole. Who wouldn't take that deal?
Both McDougal and Knight know that time is not on Glossip's side as his May 18th execution date approaches. They hope the Court of Criminal Appeals will act soon.
We certainly hope that we get a stay of execution. We've still got a clemency hearing date set April 6th. And, it would be unfair to everyone concerned if we had to go forward with a clemency hearing for a case that very well might be remanded for a new trial.
My request is they get it done as soon as possible, because this guy's already spent 26 years in prison, so they need to act quickly in my mind. And I'm just waiting to see now what the Court of Criminal Appeals has to say.
For Drummond's part, he hasn't forgotten the victim's family. He says, "My heart truly goes out to the Van Treese family, who have been waiting decades for a final measure of justice. The family and friends of Barry Van Treese have been in pain for 26 years, and what they have lost cannot be restored. I hope and pray that one day they will find peace."
Since statehood, Oklahoma has executed 200 death row inmates. 10 have been exonerated and avoided the execution chamber. If Richard Glossip gets his death penalty overturned, he'll be the 11th person to get off Oklahoma's death row alive.